Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's live readings. We are here where I'm doing live readings, and I'll tell you how that works here in just a minute. But welcome on. Welcome to the channel for anyone who's new. Welcome back to those of you returning. And I just heard something today from someone that I'd love to ask you about. And that is that she said she doesn't see my live notifications anymore, even though she's subscribed to the channel and has it set up for notifications. So I'd love to hear from those of you, especially those of you who've been following for like more than a few months, whether you've noticed a change in that or not, and you can comment it. Like whether you still get notified or whether you haven't been notified and maybe you're finding them because I email you guys and tell you about it, or if there's some other way, or if you're finding them after because you're not getting the notification. I'd love to hear what your experience is like with that, just so I can know. And welcome to the channel, and welcome to our live readings that we do here sometimes. Today we're doing natal or transit, and I will tell you how that works. But first, I wanted to make sure my sound is good. Let me see. I think it's okay. We're just going to go with it. Sometimes I have issues with the sound, but I think we're good today. So let me know in a comment below too how you're feeling with the astrology energy. How are you doing this week? How is everybody out there? I'm great. I have been outside more this week, and I don't know what I was doing today, but you know what I was doing? I went to stop at Whole Foods, and there was this little um what's it called? Not a street fair, but like a um uh almost like a farmer's market, but different, where they had all these like local things you could buy, and like lotion and a soap bar, and like, you know what I mean, like street food and stuff. So I stopped by one of those, and it just kind of made my day because honestly, guys, I don't see a lot of that cool, like spiritual shit here in Vegas very often. So it just made me feel right at home. Okay, so for those of you jumping on, here's how we do this. Um, I'm here. You can click the link in the top of the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat to book your reading. And you can choose when you're booking the reading, natal or transits. Pooja, I'm deleting your birth info. Let me go in here and delete that. Yeah, don't put your birth info in the comments, please. For two reasons. One is that it's just doesn't need, it's like private, But two is that these readings you can purchase using the link at the top of the chat. And that's one of the reasons I have like a whole form you have to do is so that your birth info can stay not on YouTube comments. That's one reason. There's other reasons though. Okay, so that being said, where are we here? Martha made a comment saying, I'm great, kind of excited, but also anxious about my next phase in career with all these astrology changes. You and me too. You and me too. I am in a transit that I was super nervous about, looking at it coming onto it, but thankfully, Saturn has passed my moon. Shout out to all my Pisces moons who are going through a Saturn moon transit. It turns out it was fine. Turns out I did not, like, nobody died so far. Like nobody, nothing crazy horrible happened. I didn't lose anything super important. I mean, that some things have been going on, but nothing as bad as I thought. So, yeah, here we go through this next phase in our careers and in our love lives and in our just our lives with all these astrology changes, which we have, right? We have so many changes this year. We have Uranus changing signs. It's going to come back and then go back again. But same with Neptune, same with Saturn. So, like, so much change. And we just had Pluto move into Aquarius. This is a year of lots and lots of changes that I wouldn't say the outer planet. I mean, the outer planets are super important, especially for societal things, but it doesn't always it doesn't always destroy you or anything. Okay, I think I see. Yes. Okay, Martha, I got you. Looks like you want transits. Okay, so we already have Martha is booked, which means Martha's going to be the first one that I do tonight, and then whoever books next will be next. All right. So that being said, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, Martha, I'm going to pull up your stuff now. So you're first. Yay. It's always nice, honestly, when someone books right away, because then it's like, it just makes my life so good. It really does. It makes this whole thing so much easier. Okay, so I've got your chart up, Martha. I'm just going to pull up my timer here. And then, yeah. Okay, so then, that's what I'm doing, timer. I should not be allowed to do anything that involves tabs or remembering what I walked into the other room for. Seriously. Or finding my car in the parking lot. These things I just shouldn't be allowed to do anymore. Okay, so going on to Martha's chart here. And here we go. Wait. There we go. Okay, let's switch this. I think it's better that way. All right, we have Martha's chart and the transits. We're going to set the timer and we're going to be good to go. Okay. All right, so let me just see what, well, Neptune is conjunct Venus right now, Venus in Pisces. And while sometimes Neptune can be slightly disorienting, let's look at what does Venus rule for you? Well, it rules your money. So Neptune and money don't necessarily go together quite too well. And what I mean is Neptune can dissolve your money. Now, it might not do that. It might make you more dreamy and in touch with some ideal, compassionate vision when it comes to your finances, but maybe have a little bit of a harder time taking the next step toward it. So, like, I want to be an artist, but and Venus and Pisces absolutely can be, but like, how are we making the art? Like, what is the next step? Who do we sell it to? Da, 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 da. Now, just fill that in with what makes sense in your life right now. If something already happened, like you're like, yeah, I just lost my job, then okay. But if you didn't, then don't think that I'm predicting that. But just that you can be less focused when it comes to your financial life right now. But the positive side of Neptune is that it can put you in touch with your ideal financially. So what is your ideal way to make money? What is your ideal way to you just said like something about career changes. So maybe there is sometimes the benefit of Neptune hitting a planet is that that area of life is more fluid, more pliable, more able to be adjusted, and your ability to go with the flow in that area might be better than it normally is. So if you're normally like, no, I can't do anything except for this type of work, this might be a time where life requires you to be flexible on that, or be flexible about how the money comes in. So let me know if that is making sense. Ooh, wow. Okay, opportunity to buy a flower business, right? Venus rules flowers. This is amazing. I love this. I love this so much. Okay. So I would say with Neptune here, I'm not going to give you business advice, but I am going to tell you that the other thing Neptune can do is what Neptune can do anywhere that it is it can make you easier to deceive. Why? Because when someone says, "Oh yeah, this is like this," your brain fills in the details of what you want it to be. This is like a Neptune problem, right? Um filling in the details with what you want. So I would say if this were me and I were like, I'm going to buy a business with Neptune can dissolve your money, right? If you buy this business, and Neptune is dissolving the money. But I would say, how do I put this? I don't ever want to give advice, but I would be more cautious. I would require proof of every claim that person that is selling to you claims. I would require a lot of like physical proof. I want to see it with my eyes. I want to see the bank statements. I want to see the revenue that the business is generating, blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't know enough about business to give you all the details here, but anything under a Neptune transit, you want to really, really, really know that it is what the person says it is, and what you think it is really what it is. Because let's just switch the topic to relationships, right? Because this is in your seventh house as an example. Okay, so with Neptune in relationships, you meet someone and you just think they're the most amazing and they promise you the world. And then they actually just steal your credit card. I'm sorry, that's the example, but it's like that's the most extreme case of a Neptune transit would be why could they steal your credit card so easily? Because you wanted to believe the lie, and that's where Neptune messes us up. So I'm not saying that everything is a lie during this transit or that you can't trust anything, but I would be less trusting and more discerning during a Neptune transit. That's what I would do. But the North Node conjunct Venus with Neptune here will make you want to spend your money. Now, I'm going to flip ahead and tell you when Neptune goes into Aries, because this isn't like, oh, now it's there forever, but it will give you a temporary break from the confusion problem that Neptune has, and it will give you a more solid, I wouldn't even trust reality, so to speak. I'm being dramatic here, but I kind of wouldn't trust reality until after Saturn hits after Saturn moves into Aries. That's gonna be May 27th. So I'm not making your decision for you. I'm not saying you can't do things. I'm not saying you can't decide to move forward now if you want to, but I think that's when you'll know whether you've made the right choice if it's something that you're doing soon. And that's when like the gravity of it being like, oh, I have to pay all these bills now or whatever the situation is going to probably come through and hit. Or maybe that's when a big payment has to be made or something. It doesn't mean don't do it. It doesn't mean don't do it. And then also I'm noticing that this is also a nodal return for you, right? So the nodal return is like coming back to this Venus and Pisces experience. I want to see, I was going to say, I was going to look back in the past, but I remembered we can't do this with Neptune really, because it's never been in this place before. So I would say, okay, the potential to change your financial status is high right now. So going for things that would allow that is highlighted, but that Saturn and hitting Venus is going to sort of hit at some point. Another thing too here is, I know our timer went off and we have another person, but I'll finish up with this. Neptune doesn't just hit Venus, it also is squaring the midheaven, and Uranus is about to square Mercury, which is also the planet that rules your midheaven. And that square is going to be perfected around April, mid April. Let me find the date. So I would not be shocked if you're like, oh yeah, I'm buying it now, or we're talking about it now, and then I buy it in mid-April or something. Why? Because Uranus making aspect to, wait, oh, I lied. I lied. That's not your midheaven ruler. Sorry. So let me go back and say that again. Ugh, I hate it when I do that live. Okay, so let's try this again. Venus is actually your midheaven ruler because your midheaven is at 29 degrees of Taurus. And right now, Neptune is aspecting the midheaven. That means your feelings of being kind of lost and not knowing if you're making the right choice are going to be strong right now. And that doesn't always have to be bad. Sometimes people are on the exact right path, but when Neptune's here, they're like, um, they think they're on the wrong path. But I would say the advice for someone going through this transit, which is, happening at the same time, so it's like a double dose of confusion, is like, don't go thinking you can do something you have no experience with, because that's what the fog of Neptune can do. It can kind of distort your thinking a little bit to the point where you think you can do something that's like you have no actual lived experience that would get you to be able to do it. So that would be the thing, is like really rely on things that are trusted and true. Now, okay, going back to, and I'm going to take a few more minutes here because I want to talk about Uranus is going to hit your midheaven, but it's going to be a little bit later in the year. So that's going to be closer to July. I recommend getting a reading before this, but just know you've got a big once in a lifetime change happening related to your career in July. So could it be that you buy this business and then by then it's flourishing and you can leave a job or something? Yeah, it's possible, but I can't tell you that for sure. All I know is for sure when Uranus hits the midheaven, and this is what I'll leave you with. When Uranus hits the midheaven, you will not, anything you are doing with your work or in your role in life that you feel like you wish you weren't doing that isn't authentic, you will no longer be able to stand that. You won't be able to stand it anymore. And to the degree that what you're doing is not what you want, you're going to feel that. It doesn't mean you're going to have the ability to bail. Sometimes people do anyway, and then they deal with the consequences. But it's going to inspire you to have freedom in your career. So if you don't have that now, you're really going to want to then. Okay, I'm really glad to hear this. That you do have your husband as a safety net. That makes me feel good. And I wouldn't, I generally don't give yes or no answers based on the astrology of like, should I do this or should I not? I just try to say, oh, if this is me, I might proceed with caution. But I hope this was helpful. It was so fun reading for you, and I look forward to whatever happens for you. I see change, I definitely see how you're in this big transitionary period. Um, But yeah, I think you should get another one before July. We can talk more about this, but we could also talk about Jupiter entering Cancer. Did we already talk about that before? And how that's going to help you? That's something we can take a look at, and how that Jupiter is going to be when it hits a trines the descendant and then later trines Venus. That's going to be a nice positive potential. So yeah, definitely book another reading at some point and we can talk about that. Okay, we're going to go on to the next person now. And that is going to be Paola. Did I say it right? Okay. So thank you, Martha. And for anyone else in the chat, You can book yours using the link at the top of the chat. Okay, so going on now. Let me get this chart up. Okay, yeah. So for these especially, I don't remember what I tell people and from reading to reading. So if you want to keep booking them, I would love that. Just try to remember what we talked about because I'll be like, oh, look, did we talk about this? Did we talk about this? um, okay. When it's 1 hour, if you book a private reading with me, I will take notes for the most part. But when it's these, I just can only do so much. Okay, so Paola, we are doing your reading. You're asking for transits. Let me get you in because I don't think I've read for you before. So I'm just going to put you in this chart software. And then we'll go from there. Anybody else who wants to book, the bookings are open and you can get yours now. You can be next. Okay, so I got you in here and we are going to share the screen, get the transits up, and then we will check it out. Okay, so we have transits. All right, go. Okay, so here we go. Let me take this off of here. Okay, so I'm just looking to see what I think is going to be the most significant to you right now. Well, you are in a Uranus half return, which is like kind of the midlife crisis time of life. I'm not saying it has to be a crisis, but what happens when Uranus opposes Uranus is we feel that need to be ourselves. And to the degree to which we're living a life we don't like, to the degree to which we are, not getting to do what we want with our own lives and not being authentic and, however much of that exists in our life is how much this transit tends to transform us, right? So if someone is in an unhappy marriage, they might leave. If someone is, this is why it's like the midlife crisis where the guy goes and buys a sports car. Why? Because that guy in particular isn't happy and does something crazy to make themselves happy, so to speak. Okay, so that I know there's more dynamically in society going on there, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Paula, and what's happening for you is you're going to have a desire to be probably more authentic in your career and even in your home life. Like you might move, but you might also find that you change something about your job or you feel the need to change something about your job. And I'll tell you when this transit goes exact, it's very soon. What do we got? 2451. Maybe in the next month or two. Yeah, around the first week of April. So I wouldn't worry about this if you're not feeling it yet. But if you're feeling this increasing tension around like a need to change something in your life, I would just listen to that feeling because it will get louder. It will get louder and then you won't be able to ignore it. It doesn't mean you have to go do anything crazy. But again, if you're in a job you hate, if you're in a relationship that you feel is limiting you, if you have friends or whatever else in life, other responsibilities that you feel are limiting you, By April, you might have this part of you that wants to just throw it all away, pack up your stuff, move to another country, or, just do something different and just, walk away from it all, so to speak. Doesn't mean you have to do that. Some people have lives where they just can't exactly do that easily. But maybe you will want to make a change at this time, a big, major life change. Okay, what else do we have happening? Well, we have Jupiter in your fifth house, bringing more positive energy to things like dating and relationships. If you are in a relationship, this can just be fun and pleasure. If you are not in a relationship, I would recommend using this time from now until June to flirt and date and have fun. If you're not trying to date for any reason, then just have fun. Have fun and be yourself, because Jupiter will help you do that. Jupiter will help you remember old hobbies you've forgotten. Jupiter will help you step into your own joy and be your own self and all of that. Now, I want to talk about Saturn, because Saturn is in your second house right now, and it is opposing a lot of your planets, including, no, it's not. I lied. That's not in opposition. Okay, Saturn is in your second house, just slowing down the finances. Sometimes when people have Saturn in the second, they will make less money, but it's because they choose to do a job that is more aligned with who they are, and as a result, they're not going to make as much money. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes they're just in a season of life where you just make it with a little bit less. And because you are Aquarius rising, you might actually be focusing a lot these days, since March of 2023, on money and making sacrifices to make money and how to get it, whether it's going to last, etc. And then with the North Node here, you might also feel more motivated ever since mid-January to really focus on your finances and get them straight and focus on maybe even getting rid of some of your stuff as the North Node. Let's see when this was. Let's see if you got rid of some stuff around the first week of February or the last week of January. Did you get rid of some stuff? Go through your things, liquidate, sell some stuff or whatever, because that would just be very aligned with that transit, and you could still be doing that now, just wanting to. Now, it might not be you getting rid of it. It might actually be, like water spills in your house and then some of the furniture gets ruined or something. Let me know if any of this is making sense to you as far as with what's happening in your life. And let me just see if there's anything else that is kind of jumping out at me as something that would be really important to you. Well, more interesting career stuff, because Mars rules your 10th house and it's retrograde, and Jupiter rules your midheaven. And it was retrograde until, let's see when Jupiter popped out as the morning star, because that was recent. I think the first week of February, Jupiter's here being like, hey, now we have some career opportunities. But Mars is still retrograding, being like, well, okay, but it's not quite ready yet. And then Mars will go direct soon, very soon. We better do a video on that for the channel, but that's going to be tomorrow. Oh shit, it's tomorrow. So I wouldn't think tomorrow you're going to have some amazing career opportunity, but maybe there is a shift in the direction and things start feeling like they're moving a little faster, because since about November, even late October, when Mars was getting ready to go retrograde, I would think that just career potential and stuff was not really moving. It was just probably staying the same, or you're going over stuff, or you're going over, projects or something. With the 10th ruler and the 6th, it feels like a time where you're going to be busy working, but it feels like you're busy working on stuff that maybe to you just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, projects that are like you just have to do them. It's like cleaning or something, like being the cleaner at work or being the person at work who just like fixes up stuff, but it's not, it feels like you're being of service to others and you're helping out, but it's not something that will necessarily make your career potential any better. Doing stuff that might not be building your resume that just has to be done. Now, if you're not working, then this might be just working on chores, trying to redo the house or redo some projects that got put to a standstill that now can move forward. Now can begin to move forward, but I wouldn't expect them to be moving fast yet, but there's like a change in direction. We're turning it around. What else do I have for you here that's going to be, let's see if I can find something positive because I told you about Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is really a big one. So that's like a big life transit to just know, like, how do you work with this one? Really? Let's talk about that. And that'll be where we stop for today for this reading. How to work with your Uranus opposition is if there are parts of you that feel like I feel stuck or confined in this area of life, listen to that voice, listen to that whisper. If there's a part of you, especially you, that wants to like travel the world, but you're afraid of flying or something, it might be a time to listen to that part of yourself because we don't ever feel stuck in something that's right for us. Almost never. Sometimes people get married and then they feel stuck in their marriage and they work through that feeling and they stay. But usually, when Uranus comes along, these are the things we've repressed. These are the things that we want to have freedom from. And these are our values. So just honor those feelings if they're happening. Clothes and debts. Okay, so you got rid of, I'm guessing you were talking about getting rid of stuff, getting rid of clothes, and maybe getting rid of debts. Okay, let's see this. This comment. I've been working on a project that's been kind of stagnant. However, I got a job offer on Friday. Oh, hey. Okay, cool. So, let's go back to Friday really quick. What day was that? The 21st? Yeah. Okay, job offer on the 21st. And you're going to sit with them on Monday. So that's what, 24th? Yeah, so Mars will be out of retrograde and that's like so great. I can't say like this will be the best job or you'll get it or you won't. I just can't really see that too well personally. But yeah, it would make sense. It would just make sense if like now you're talking about it and within the next few weeks, like, March-ish is maybe when something gets going, right? Because you have, especially I would say, let me see, we have Jupiter. I'm just looking at career planets. Where is Mars? 14. And then we have, so Mars, Jupiter, and Moon. Yeah, I don't know. I would want to think maybe this time, maybe around end of March, early April, we might see a change as Mars passes Uranus. That would definitely be possible. And especially if like this job is getting you out of the feeling of being stuck, if you have a current job that you feel like that in, that would make total sense. So I think we'll stop there just because of time. But I hope that this was helpful and fun and interesting. And I hope that you come back again sometime for another one. All right. Or book a private reading. Okay, so let me get it onto this. Okay, so for anyone else jumping on, what we're doing today is live readings. And so the way these work is there is a link at the top of the chat that you can use to book the reading. And then what happens after that is okay, yeah, super fun. It's super fun. See everyone? No, but there's a link at the top of the chat. You can click that, book your reading, and then your chart could be here on the screen with me. And I could be telling you about the upcoming energy in your life. So you get a choice between your natal chart or transits. If you choose transits, you're going to get what we just did. We just did for the last two people, which is going to be the energy of the moment, what's happening now, where Saturn is slowing things down, where Mars might be speeding things up, where Jupiter might be providing opportunities. Now is a really good time to do transits on Jupiter because Jupiter did come out as as the morning star recently, and that is when you kind of get the opportunities that Jupiter has for you in this cycle. So it's different every time based on where it is in your chart. It's not always career, sometimes it's other stuff. And so yeah, that's what you should do is book. And then you can also choose, again, you can choose natal or transits. If you choose natal, I'm going to look at your chart and tell you what stands out to me, what's unique about it. And it's going to focus on your your emotional world, your inner world, how life feels navigating it as yourself. And that's what you're going to get. If you choose transits again, you're going to get the, what am I trying to say? You're going to get the energy snapshot of what's happening now. All right. Okay, so while we kind of hang out and see if more people want to book, I do want to I want to ask you guys something because someone told me today that she does not get notifications when I'm live on YouTube anymore, even though she's a follower, she's been subscribed forever. And I was just wondering if you guys have that problem too. So if you've ever had that problem, I would just love to know about that. I would love it if you just comment. I do read them. I read almost every single comment still. And just a shout out to everyone who's liked a video or, showed up on my lives or just done anything with the intention of helping me grow. It does not go unnoticed. And I'm going to take my jacket off because I just got hot. Okay, so then, yeah, for anyone else jumping on, welcome to the video. We are here doing live readings. There's a link at the top of the chat. You can click if you want to book yours. And that's something I wanted to say because I saw a couple people in the chat. I want to fix that too. A couple people in the chat asking for readings. And I appreciate that. Oh, yay. Okay, see, thank you for sharing this. Is it Anna? Let me say it right. Anarada. I got one in my email. Okay, so the ones that you get in your email are because you're on my email list. So for those of you who are here and you are not getting email notifications that I'm live, that's because you maybe are not on my email list. If you're on my email list, you'll get those and you'll get a shitload of emails from me just telling you stories and stuff. And then you'll also get a bunch of other emails from me whenever I do a sale on anything. Yeah, see, and I heard, who was it? A tarot person say that a lot of people they'll be subscribed and then they won't be anymore or something. So I don't know if that's a thing. I still have all my subscribers. Nobody's getting kicked off, I don't think. But yeah, I just wanted to find out about that, you guys. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, for those of you who are like, wait, I'm not getting emails. Should I be getting emails? You can, there's going to be a link in the description of all my videos where you can sign up for my email list and you'll get a bunch of emails, including selling you stuff. So if you don't like that idea and you just want to be a supporter and you don't want to buy anything, then don't sign up because anyone out there, let me just tell you this for anyone who doesn't know, anyone out there who has an email list, the whole point of that list is to sell you shit. If they say otherwise, they're lying because we have to pay for these lists. Like I have to pay this company to be able to hold all the email addresses in one spot and then email people. Like people who have email lists pay to be able to email you. And the reason they spend money on that is because we want to be able to tell people about our products and services. And it's better if you can build an audience of people who want to buy stuff, right? If you want to buy a course or you want to book a reading, then you should be on the list so that you know you're the first to know when it comes out. So even though I send you a bunch of free emails with stories about my life, it's so that you can get to know me better and decide if you want to work with me. That's kind of the point of email lists. It's to kind of build that know, like, and trust factor. And, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be this liar who tells you that, you were meant to find this message, because it drives me insane that works on people. So I'm like that. I'm the anti, you were meant to find this message, whatever that is. Okay, let's see. Um, Two other astrologers say people will randomly be unsubscribed from their channel. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to hang out a little bit longer to see if anyone else wants to book with me today. You can choose natal or transits. And we might do another one tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. If I do, it's probably going to be a little bit earlier in the day, most likely like 11 a.m. Pacific time. But yeah, what you can get if you book a reading is you can get natal chart, which is going to be, me just saying what I see about you. It'll be probably about emotional stuff. And then the other one is transits, which is going to tell you like what's happening now, how the different planets are affecting you, where the opportunities and the challenges lie. Honorata says your emails are actually pleasant and not annoying. And trust me, that's rare. Thank you. I worked really hard on that email list. Like I spent months probably, honestly, like, because when you sign up, you get an email every few days for like, I don't know, 3 months or something. But I spent a long time writing those and to try to make it like nice. I did want to make it pleasant. I want it to be you get something in your inbox and you're like looking forward to the next one because the last one made you feel like you could actually do this and you could actually find the next step on your path. And I get a lot of emails back from people that say, thank you, this is just what I needed to hear. And it's like, it's so easy when you're trying to live this spiritual life to just feel like you're doing it all wrong because, we live in this society that measures success as your bank account. And there are a lot of people who have really big bank accounts that are not necessarily learning their spiritual lessons. But then, there's also a lot of people who are making a lot of money doing really amazing work. And there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of money, but they're the exact, in the right place. So it's like, this has been a theme for me and a lot of my clients lately of, maybe it's better to separate finances from spirituality and measure them on different spectrums, like how much money you make versus where you are on your spiritual path are not always equal, right? You could be way ahead on the spiritual path and behind on the financial side, or you could be the other way, or you can be just even and balanced, right? It could be any of those ways. And I just think sometimes our society treats us like we are our bank account and that we are only what we've accomplished in the external world. While at the same time, I would say that there's something about spirituality and being on the path that does involve helping others, that does involve doing something in the world, that does involve work of some kind. But it's about the balance of work that you're good at, that you also can get paid for, that you're not selling your soul to do, that, yeah. But and I also feel like the more you kind of walk the spiritual path, sometimes the more you feel isolated. A lot of my clients feel sort of left out, or like they no one gets them. And it's like this is why having the internet is a gem. It's a precious gem, even though it has downsides and like I don't really want AI to take over the world. Still, the internet, the ability to watch a YouTube video of someone who's talking about the spiritual path and their intuition, even though our world still has challenges, we have that ability to connect with each other, which for a long time, if it was like 30 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so if you are watching and you're like waiting right now to get a reading, then now is your moment because I'm gonna shut it off soon. Um, would you ever answer simple single questions for a super chat? How awesome would it be if YouTube astrologers did live Q&A vids? I've done it before. Like I think once I got 10K, I did a live where I did like readings in the chat. It's just that it takes some time to well, first of all, I think it's ideal if I have it's not that it won't work. It's just that honestly, it's not really that big of a money maker. And it takes a lot of time and energy, right? So could it be done? Yes. But it's like super chats, there's a percentage of it that gets taken and it's a really big percentage. So I mean, it's not my preferred way of doing it. But I was thinking about maybe doing a free one every once in a while just to kind of get a little bit more energy going on here because these live readings don't get very many people on them. I get some of the regular people who know what they are, who really like it, but even sometimes they don't see them. So, I mean, maybe I would do one that was just like just because, just for fun, like let me do some free readings for everyone. But even then sometimes like it's just a different, I don't know how to explain it. I mean I love coming on here and answering questions and talking to people about astrology and helping them out. There is something about and let me know if you know what I'm talking about. There is something about the energy of doing a live readings, not Q&A about astrology, not Q&A about spiritual stuff, but like actual live readings that gives me the ick. And I say that as someone who used to like jump on other people's. But there's something about the vibe of like even like tarot live free Q&As that is just um it doesn't feel right to me. And it doesn't feel great to me when I'm watching them. It doesn't feel great when I'm doing them. I used to do tarot more. Like, for those of you who don't know, this channel used to be a tarot channel. And I think like my first 1,000 subscribers were all from when it was tarot, and I was doing like pick a cards and like monthly tarot readings. And then the channel started growing, and I self sabotaged and stopped doing it. It was like, I'm not doing tarot anymore. It was like my nervous system could not handle the potential, even though I was so broke. I was working at a burger place. You guys, I was working at a freaking burger place part time. And the other part time, I was working at a crystal shop doing readings, and I had no money. And I just decided to stop doing the one thing that was working because like I literally didn't have the capacity to allow what I was asking for. And that happens. And that's okay. But yeah, I'm giving you this super long answer, but it's not that I would never do it. It's that if I do it, like let's say I do it on a Saturday or a Sunday, then that Sunday is no longer like a money making day, right? It's like, and then what do I get from that? I get some views of people who now want this same free thing again. So I just think you kind of helped me just talk this out because this is what I've learned. And I mean, one of the things I learned is that when I'm doing anything in business and I do something just for now that I don't really want to continue, all it does is it gets people and clients who want that same thing again, right? So even with like monthlies, right? I was doing monthlies on the channel, um, where where it's like it's so hard. It is so hard to kind of like stay true to what is real and what is good, but also do what gets views or what gets attention, and try to blend those two things without sacrificing one or the other. Like these don't get attention, but they're what I know I'm supposed to be doing in the world. Like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life, is to read people's charts and like give them a feeling and like help them, right? And just convey that information with no judgment and with love and with just nothing but just this pure desire to help the person. And um so yeah, it's like you have to kind of find the path of like where to make the concessions and where to stay true to yourself, and that's a whole path to walk. Okay, so I want to see these other comments. No offense to tarot readers, but I personally feel astrology is way more advanced, interesting, accurate, real. Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like, I mean, I hear what you're saying. And my experience with tarot, especially when it's like on on YouTube, is that it's almost impossible once you get a big enough following to have it be accurate, just logically. Um, but I feel the same way about astrology, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people agree with you. I do have a lot of people on the channel now who don't even really like tarot, but then I've also had astrology clients book readings with me, and they're like, it was so good, it helped me so much. So, and okay, so I think you're right that if you were gonna fake something, then tarot would be a good thing to choose, because you could just say anything. I mean, I've even seen readings of people where they're like, they pull a card and they just read what it says and they don't offer anything else. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not what they mean by reading. They mean like like, and I remember actually the first tarot reading I ever got was from a girl who it was not accurate. Like, she was telling me the story of the cards, but it was not connected. However, I've had multiple really good ones, including the ones I do for myself. I'm not even gonna lie. This is one of my favorite stories to tell. Is one of the first tarot readings I ever did. So now is like last chance for anyone who wants to book. Use the link at the top of the chat. Otherwise, we're gonna end with this. And that is one of the first readings I ever did. Was a tarot reading that I did way back in the day, and I was actually paying like every 3 months to be able to be on this site where I could give readings to strangers because I wanted to, start practicing. And so the guy, they submit a question online. You give them the reading and you send them the pictures of the cards, and then they give you feedback. And I will never forget this guy who said something like, I just want to end it all, or something like that. And I remember being like, what's he going to do? Oh no, So I just gave him this reading and I was like, I think you're going to get rid of your possessions, go overseas, and live a monastic life. And his feedback was, I already booked the ticket. And that was like when I first started reading. And I remember kind of being like, oh, maybe I'm good at this. It was the first time I ever did something that I was like, maybe I'm good at it. So that was a fun moment. And that's just a little story about my experience with tarot. And now that that story's over, we do have another person who just booked. So, Jeremy, you will be next. I'm going to put in your info now. And then anyone else who books after Jeremy will get a chance to have a reading. So we're going to keep going. Jeremy wants transits. Okay, I'm just going to put all your info in here. Okay, let me just get it in, get all the different parts of this here. And then we'll pull it up and we'll get to read your transits. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, Honorata. We'll just keep that up there for a second. That's nice and positive. Let me share my screen here and we'll get your chart up, Jeremy. And okay. So I'm going to set my timer. We'll do 5 minutes of transits. The first transit I'm noticing is like tomorrow the sun will be conjunct Saturn. Now, it doesn't have to be the worst day ever, but it could be. Why? Because the sun illuminates the challenging sadness, grief in life. So if you are feeling more like aware of problems, aware of a lost thing in life on the 23rd tomorrow or today, just like feeling like life is all responsibility, you never get to have any fun, or just feeling bogged down with something, it's going to pass. Whatever the sun hits, it's going to illuminate. So usually what will happen is there will be a day probably around this time in February where maybe you get a little bit down. because the sun is hitting your Saturn. But one of the cool things about this Saturn is that it is conjunct a fixed star called Fomalhaut, which means like poetry. And Saturn rules your third house of writing, so it makes me wonder if you've ever written anything or if you're a writer. Let me know in the chat if that is a thing. If you're not a writer and you've always wanted to write, in particular writing, but really any creative thing, but writing comes out very strong on this. But any creative hobby or like sculpting or pottery or something like that, that could be just a thing in your life that the sun is illuminating and like you're focusing on creating something. So if that's true, that's what it is. And if it's not, if that doesn't apply to you, then that's fine. Although this is a very nice fixed star and there really is a lot of potential to write in a way that like takes people to another world. Also, holy Scorpio stellium. I mean, damn. That's a lot of Scorpio. And I'm not complaining about this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets, the North Node and the Ascendant. This might be the biggest stellium I've ever seen. Working on a sales pitch in your business. Okay, cool. So maybe there's something about the creation process and like being able to sell in a way that like understand the building blocks of selling in sort of a way that is almost becomes a dance or something. Right? Because like Fomalhaut's a really strong fixed star. There really is something here. Okay, what else is happening? Well, Venus is in the 6th, sweetening up your day-to-day experience of your schedule or your work shift or your, gym time or something making that sweeter. It could be you're just listening to your favorite podcast as you're driving because you're driving more or something. And then what else do we have that's like significant here? Let me see. Well, Uranus is opposite your sun. That's kind of a major life transit where your identity changes. And it's happening like right now. Now, normally this transit it might be a one-time thing that happens, but it could also be, I'm going to look at the actual day that it's exact. Yeah, like we're looking at March. So I wonder if you are trying to make some kind of big change to your career, or maybe this is when you launch something big that has the potential to be a before and after moment for you. If yes, I would say it's like, it's worth, I don't want to say it's worth pursuing. I would just say like right now is a really pivotal time because there is the potential to stop or start new work in a way that would be, most likely going to contribute to your growth. Why? Because the sun is conjunct Jupiter. So Uranus isn't just opposite the sun, it's also conjunct Jupiter. So like Jupiter's going to make it better. Jupiter's going to make it be your own personal growth and growing what you are capable of. And with Scorpio, there might be an element of this that's like getting deeper to the root cause of a thing or figuring out what's behind the scenes of a thing or understanding psychology. So I can see why sales would make sense for someone with so much Scorpio because Scorpio energy really, really understands the motivations of other people. There's this innate ability to do that. There's this innate ability to tell when someone's lying to you. There is this ability to people tell you their secrets. Scorpio rising doesn't mind knowing about them either. So like you're just aware of this undercurrent of life and you kind of probably are not shy away from like things that things that other people don't want to talk about at the dinner table. Scorpio risings tend to really want to know what's beneath the surface of everything and leave no stone unturned. So having Uranus aspect, I mean, Uranus has already hit your Venus, Mercury, ascendant, North Node. Now it's hitting this very nice Jupiter Sun conjunction. Even though Pluto's there, and what is Jupiter going to do? It's going to expand your career. Are you like launching something huge that like has the potential to blow up in early March? Because I don't want to promise, like make it over promise here, but there really is the potential for big growth or like more growth than normal to be happening at this time. And I think what I want to do is see what happened for you in the past on this. This would be a while ago, so it'll be different, but it'll give you a frame of reference for what Uranus does to this Jupiter Sun conjunction. And if you don't remember and you need to look it up and you're like me, then that's fine. But we're looking at around 2009, around early April. Yeah, what kind of life-changing experience that made you feel like you were more of a person or got like growth in career happened in April of 2009? Because that's like a baseline for what kind of positive thing we could see or what kind of growth we could see happening for you in the next month or so. This is kind of a big transit. Okay, so I think we're over on the 5 minutes, but I'm just going to see if there's anything else that I see that's like you need to know about right now. Yeah, okay, so Saturn in Pisces might be kind of a buzz killer right now because one is your Saturn return, which is like, let's go back in time. That would have been like more around March, April, May of 2023 when Saturn was conjunct Saturn. And usually at that moment, you're not like the happiest person because you're feeling usually very aware of your responsibilities. And oftentimes that's a Saturn return where you start being really just realizing what you need to get serious about. So you might make some promises to yourself or realize certain things become important. But since then, so Saturn made a trine to your Venus, your Mercury, all these planets. And so next it's going to trine the Sun, Jupiter. I don't think this will be the worst thing, but I do think it might bring some need to make a commitment now that allows you to grow more in the future, or a commitment to your current growth. That growth could be, most likely it's going to be career growth because the Sun is here and the Sun rules that 10th house. So I don't know, like some kind of big opportunity or change that happens earlier in this March that leads to a commitment or nailing something down, or maybe you're like not drinking anymore because you got to get serious about this. You really need to be on your A game at work or something like that, where it could be a restriction of things that up until now were things you would consider pleasure. And that could be the theme of Saturn in the fifth since 2023 for the last 2 years, basically, of what happens is Saturn gives you consequences in that area if you are doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Like whatever the problems are with your entertainment, your risk taking, gambling, or small business, own business, kids, or flirting, dating life, any of those areas of life, if there are challenges in this area that you haven't dealt with before, when Saturn comes along, you can no longer avoid them and you have to deal with it. Saturn kind of forces it. So the Saturn return is only as bad as your problems are at the moment. It won't bring new ones. It will make you address the ones that have already been there. And so Saturn's already about to leave here. So this might be like figuring out how to express yourself in the right way. That might be part of this theme or any of the other things I talked about. But with Saturn trining the sun being career, it's almost like whatever changes and starts going faster early March might also start going slower by the end of March. I don't think that means you're going to be stuck or anything, but it's like, it's so weird because you'll have Uranus saying, let's change this, let's go. Well, at the same time, Saturn saying, actually, let's put on the brakes. So you might have a situation where like something grows or something has the potential to change, but there's rules and regulations and things slowing it down, or contracts or limits. Or maybe like maybe normally there's a supervisor, but there's a lack of supervision or there's a lack of management or authority in the situation. And because of that, there's slowing down of putting the process through. I don't know exactly what you do, but, or it might be something like some opportunity happens early, early March, and then by mid or end of March, you're just doing the work to fulfill the order or to fulfill the contract that you've made, and it makes you busy and hardworking, but not necessarily a problem. Okay, we're gonna stop there. I hope this was helpful. I hope that it gave you some insight. And we're going to move on to the next person. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay, so we're going to go on to, okay, Anuradha. You did book. You want to do natal? Do you have a thing you want me to look at? Or do you just want whatever I see? Let me just put you in here. I don't think I have you yet. I'm just entering your birth info. Oh, cool. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that, Jeremy. Okay, so Anuradha, I'm going to go ahead and pull up your chart. And then if anyone else wants the book, now's the time because I'm starting to get tired. So we'll be ending at some point soon. And this has been lovely. Okay, so let me just see what I see here. I'm just checking it out. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Let me see. Let's talk about Jupiter. Because Jupiter rules your ascendant, so that's going to be you. Where are you? You're here in the fourth house thinking about how your emotions, why emotions matter, emotional mastery, being able to feel good in your own skin and feeling that feeling of like when you're like thinking about your emotional well being, when you're thinking about what makes you feel safe in your body and at home in your own skin and what's aligned for you when you are at home studying, you're going to feel your best. When you're at home reading your spiritual stuff or watching a spiritual video, learning something, you're going to be your happiest by yourself, in private, just checking out, going into this other world, right? This other beautiful world where it's still this world, but it's using this human experience to connect to something greater, that makes you feel like you're a part of something greater. So Jupiter is really well placed, which means like this is kind of a good thing to see for your ascendant ruler to have it be in its rulership because this means like you're strong. And it might not be the kind of strong that's like strong as an ox, but like the emotional ability to take in the lessons that life has to teach is very alive and well within your soul. So this is a good thing. Now, this is also the fourth ruler in the fourth, which tells us that family is going to be important to you. That could be your family of origin or your own family, or even people that you choose that are like family. But either way, that feeling of belonging is going to be a super hugely important thing in your life. And lately, Saturn's been there. I know you didn't ask for transits, but if that feeling of hope for the future and that feeling of inspiration lately has been down or dampened a bit, you can thank Saturn for that and know that it's just temporary and it's not forever. When Saturn was in the same sign as my Jupiter, I was a Debbie Downer and I didn't even want to meditate. I didn't want to read spiritual stuff. I was just like not having it. And then almost like the week Saturn moved into the next sign, I was like listening to my spiritual stuff again and just like back to my inspired self, but I didn't know that. Now, if it's not bringing you down, great, even better. But sometimes when Saturn hits, our planet that represents us, we're just more filled with responsibilities. Our time is more consumed with that. But let's talk about what Jupiter does when it's squared by Saturn in the chart and sextiled by Mars. Well, Mars is going to stimulate and just add to your desire to learn all the things and understand all the lessons in order to feel like at home, like, now I'm okay, So it's going to add to that. And Mars Jupiter can also make you like a defender of spiritual things, right? It can make you want to defend your beliefs. So if you have a certain beliefs or you think a certain way, you're going to do, you're going to do, let me see here. You'll just voice that opinion about even like kind of what you just said, where you were like, tarot readers suck or whatever. It's like, people with Jupiter and Mars in aspect are going to have certain opinions about things and they'll be willing to fight for those beliefs, whatever they are. Now, Mars is exalted here in Capricorn. Yay, this means you can get shit done. And if you're struggling with finances, this Mars can help you out of it. This Mars can help you figure out how to solve financial problems. And it trines the midheaven, which is very good. So what that means is you might find that you make more money when you are physically doing things, right? Because it's Capricorn. But there's also an ability here to maybe make money off of entertainment or fifth house things like entertainment or stuff related to kids or stuff related to, Well, it could be sex, but it doesn't have to be if you don't want to do that. But just like the entertainment industry in general, or fun or kids or like learning for kids or things like that. But Mars is very good in Capricorn because there's this ability to kind of see, to know what it takes to accomplish something. Okay, there's this ability to kind of tap into it. It doesn't mean you're always going to take that route, but you'll be, if you don't know what it takes to accomplish something, if you just decide you want to know, you'll be able to figure it out and like understand how the whole system works or understand how the whole structure of a thing works. This Mars is also kind of close to a fixed star called Vega. That fixed star is at 15 degrees, so I'm giving it a wide range here, but that might make it might make the people you date or have dated in your life be more creative people. You might have an interest in architecture, especially, or something else that's very creative or musical, a musical talent as well. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. Let me fix it then. If you are not Sag rising, let me see what I did here. Mine says 8:57. Let me see. Did I get the right day and the right year? Yeah. Did I get the right place? Maybe not. Okay, let me see if I got the wrong place. And then you'll just get a whole new one. Yeah, it pulled up Auburndale, which I'm guessing is like in a totally different part of New York. There we go. Tell me if that looks better. Yeah, so Honorata, sometimes there's a delay in the chat. Some days it's more delayed than others. So, no problem about that. And let's see. Are you a 27 degree Scorpio rising? And I'm just going to chill for a minute while you answer that. Anyone else, now is your last chance to book with me. You know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to go in and fix that now, change that now while Anuradha's stream catches up to me. Well, the stream catches up because I know that's what's going on. All right. All right, I'm just taking this off here. We might do another one tomorrow. If we do, it'll be like probably 11 a.m. Pacific time. That way we can get some of the people. I know some of the people in the different places in the world can't do this time. Okay, so Anurada, are you caught up? Let me see. Okay, well, let me know. I'm going to go ahead with it because I think the stream is a little bit behind. It happens sometimes. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it happens when you join it and it doesn't have you at the current time, but because I can see your comment right now saying wait please, so I think you might be I think you might be behind. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with the Scorpio rising at 27 degrees. I had the right time, I just didn't have the right place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully it's all good. Okay, totally different chart though. Totally different chart. Um, Forget everything I just said about everything. None of it's going to apply. All right, all right. So, what do we still do have Mars sextile Jupiter though. So, defending your beliefs and being able to accomplish things. Now, it's not going to relate to as money as much, but being able to accomplish things that you set out to because you are capable of seeing the way the whole structure is, that is still applying. And Vega being near Mars is still applying. However, in this chart now, Mars is ruling you. Are you creative? Do you want to be an architect? Do you sing? Do you write music? What do you do that's super creative? I would not be surprised if you're like want to be a published author or write poetry or dance or something. So what is your okay. So Honorata, do you want to just let me know in the chat? Are you 27-degree Scorpio rising? And just say the whole thing in the chat because I think it's going to come through much later for me. Okay, so let's keep going here. We have, yeah, so Mars in the third means you're going to spend a lot of time either writing or driving around your neighborhood, walking around your neighborhood with your siblings, or teaching people stuff. You could be a teacher. Doesn't have to be though. Sometimes the third house can be the act of writing. So having your planet in the third house in this exalted position, just it screams writer to me, especially with the moon in the 12th here, where it wants privacy. You know, sometimes people with 12th house placements do well writing because they like being alone. They like the privacy. Now, what else? What else jumps out here now that we have got the right chart? um, well, Venus conjunct the descendant is quite nice, and Taurus too. You got some you got some really nice planets here. You've got Jupiter in Pisces in the 5th house, making life more fun. It like, Jupiter in the 5th, Jupiter in Pisces in the 5th makes you kind of want to sort of squeeze the juice out of life a bit when it comes to the spiritual side of things and like know all the spiritual things and learn them all and get to know the spiritual lessons and the doctrines and the things that feel soothing to the soul. And then we have, Mars in the third sometimes can make you want to win arguments, want to win in a conversation or be very direct in how you speak sometimes, or sometimes it will make you actually not want to say anything unless you think that thing is important, right? Sometimes Mars in the third will do that. In Capricorn, I mean. Planets in Capricorn in the third will do that, is what I mean. But Mars will probably stimulate what you have to say and your desire to learn and know all the spiritual things. Okay, so now Venus in the 7th is going to be in her domicile, conjunct the descendant. So Scorpio risings, oftentimes, they have enough drama in just how they see the world and the psychology of things. They don't usually need more drama from their partners. Oftentimes, you want a relationship. Where you can just count on them for stability. You want to know that everything's going to be paid for, and like, or like sometimes you want to just enjoy the senses, right? Taurus is a very sensual sign. Venus in Taurus is like wants the massages, wants to listen to music. You want to cook dinner with your partner, watch a movie, just like go watch the sunset together, listen to a podcast, listen to your favorite music, and just kind of enjoy life with your partner when you have a relationship. Like that's what you want to do when you have this. Now, the sun here also makes relationships really important. So, usually people with the sun in the seventh aren't single for long unless they really, really want to be, because usually they're like, if they think their relationship's going to end, they'll be like kind of on the lookout for who's going to be the next person. It's like you really do shine in relationship when you have your sun in the seventh, and relationships become a very central part of life. Okay, so then okay, cool. So I'm now just seeing your comments saying yes, 27 degrees. Everything is accurate now. And yeah, for some reason, I've had this happen before a few times where the leg is so fucking long. It's like, it feels like 20 minutes, but it's maybe like 3 or 4. Anyway, let's keep going here. So Jupiter is your money planet in this one, and Jupiter in the fifth in Pisces could possibly bring the challenge of like, okay, so let's talk about money because you've got a lot of stuff in these money houses. You've got Saturn in the second house saying, let's slow down and not spend our money too much. But you have the second house ruled by Jupiter. This is actually, we want to just love life and eat, drink, and be merry. And we don't want to think about not spending money. And so you may find that you, because this is a square and it's immutable signs, and it's the square between the second ruler and a planet in the second house, it means it's going to be more like tension here on, do I do the Jupiter thing and just say fuck it, let's go have some food and just be abundant, or do I do the Saturn thing and say no, 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 we're not going to spend anything until we have like 3 years of income saved up. And you may find that you fight with yourself a bit, right? That's kind of what squares will do, is you'll fight with yourself. You'll have this tension like, oh, I want to do it the Saturn wants to do it the Sagittarius way, Jupiter wants to do it the Pisces way, and they're like, Sag wants to save for the future. Saturn and Sag wants to save for the future. This future dream of something bigger down the road. But Jupiter in Pisces wants to enjoy life right now. So we have a little bit of a challenge here. And that's kind of the dynamic tension that you can use to create, right? And to like create and to accomplish, right? Because like a lot of celebrities have squares, so it's all good. Now, I want to speak more on this Saturn and Sag because this one I know quite a bit about, where you can kind of okay, Saturn is how we discipline ourselves. And when we do that, it's because something in life isn't working. So when things in life need to be changed or adjusted, what are you going to do? You're going to do the Saturn and Sagittarius thing. And instead of changing the thing you need to do right now, you will maybe set a bigger goal. And like, I'm laughing because I do this. You'll set a bigger goal, or you'll think about what needs to change in the future. But that's the problem with Saturn and Sagittarius, is sometimes it's hard to bring to, you can make a new plan for some big grand thing, but sometimes it's, you have to work really hard to get yourself into right now and to like focus on the next step when you're dealing with challenges. Now I'm also noticing Jupiter opposes the midheaven. This is wonderful. Okay. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing, because planets that aspect the midheaven support the midheaven, and the midheaven is the career. So you have your career in the 11th house in Virgo. So it's like doing something where you're taking in information and keeping what's useful and getting rid of what isn't. And then Mercury in the 6th is like, maybe it's something where you're actually physically doing something where you're being of service. But Jupiter, this learning and this teaching, somehow supports your career in your ability to be of service to people and to help tell them what to do or guide them in some way. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you like to sing and dance, but you're no professional. And then love walking around your neighborhood, driving, used to write, but have felt blocked. For some reason, difficulty expressing my thoughts with words. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, okay. Let me see what else here. Let's go to your moon. Let's go to your moon and talk about that for a minute. And then we'll probably wrap this up at some point. So, again, the moon in the 12th is going to be someone who's a little more needs time to themselves to figure out how they feel about things. And with the South Node here, there could be some problems in early life with self denial in terms of denying yourself food, denying yourself sleep, and maybe not that bad, but like maybe not recognizing your needs when you're younger, or having to learn how to do that as you get older. Um, Like, why do I say that? Because the South Node takes away from the moon. The South Node will take away from the planet it's with. It's okay, I have a South Node planet too. It drains it. And the moon is your ability to not just feel your feelings, but to recognize what you actually need. Do you need to eat salad or a cheeseburger? And maybe you need the cheeseburger, I don't know. But like, this almost guarantees that there would be challenges with recognizing what is good for you in terms of things that are nourishing. Now, that could transfer from the physical to also more emotional things, but I don't want to get too deep into that just in case that might not be the case. But overall, I would say, someone with this chart would kind of have to work to figure out what their needs are, because there's a lot of focus on the needs of other people, and because you might not always know what your needs are unless you take some time out to calm down or clear off. Not calm down, clear off. The moon in the 12th needs downtime to process emotions. The moon ruling the ninth house, being in the 12th with the South Node, is insanely spiritual, because this is a planet of meaning of life and the path to God in the 12th house of the subconscious mind. So for you, the path to understanding your spiritual life might actually be through altered states of consciousness where you go somewhere else. Why? Because the South Node is there saying, let's go to another dimension. Let's do some hypnotherapy or some other things that take us to another place. But also, maybe also this is how we become embodied in a way. So it's like, yeah, it does feel like the spiritual path is through maybe a psychological experience, and also possibly through retreats, silent meditations. Um, Hopefully not prisons or hospitals, but hopefully other places of isolation that are like, maybe mountaintops. Maybe you straight up have gone to mountaintops to meditate. It's like not only that, but the South Node with the moon ruling the ninth house is a very much of a almost like a Buddhist thing where you're trying to empty the mind. There's no mind, there's no trying to release, right? And maybe throughout your life, fasting has been a part of your spiritual path as well. That's also a possibility. That is not advice. Um, it is just what I think could be happening for someone with this in their chart. Okay. All right, let's see if there's anything else that like strikes me, because there might be something else good here that I missed. Yeah, oh, Mars also trines the midheaven still. So I know you're saying I'm not a professional, but I wonder, I mean, if you have issues with career or something, you've got it in you to fix that, to overcome that, whatever that is. If you don't have issues with that, forget I said on any of that. But you have some very nice Planets in Mars is exalted here, which just means you can get shit done. It kind of is what that means. And if you need to win a fight, you could. Doesn't mean you're always going to, but like Mars exalted and Saturn not in too strong of dignity is pretty good. Um, and I say that because when they're both strong, usually it's not as good. It's too much bad in the personality. Um, Although I hate saying that because now someone's going to be watching and be like, mine are strong. What do I do? You just be the best person you can be regardless. And don't try to punish people. Anyway, back to your chart here. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here in this Mars trine the midheaven and Jupiter opposite. Some people get no planets with their midheaven. That means they don't have as much energy they can draw on, parts of themselves they can draw on to manifest the career they want. I think you can. I think you can literally visualize the career you want with Jupiter opposite your midheaven, and you could like get it to happen. I really do think that. Okay, so I think I will stop there. We covered so much, and I kind of wanted to try to give you a little more because I know I spent so much time reading the wrong chart. Let's see what else. Yeah, okay, so I'm seeing this comment now. This is amazing, so dead on. Yes, I'm very hands-on with work. Makes so much sense. All right. So I want to say thank you to Honorata. And I know that you might not see this for a few more minutes, but thank you for booking. It was super fun to read your chart. And I hope you do another one sometime or a private reading because there's a lot of good stuff in here that we could kind of unpack, sometimes too. And this, I'll just say this to everyone, like sometimes we can see like if we're looking at your annual perfections and like what house in the chart is activated that year, we can see things. We can see like when certain parts of the chart are going to be more alive and more like louder for the year. And so when you have a chart like this, where you have an exalted planet, you have, well, if we count Pluto and its domicile, right? Pluto, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, all of those are going to do, like when they're activated by transit, in general, they're going to do relatively good things. So like it kind of tells you how many good things you just get in life, and everyone's is different. Yeah, okay. Always struggle with overeating and then going the other way and trying not to eat. Yes. Okay, so this is exactly how the nodes will work, right? Because the moon, the planet of eating food, is connected to the nodes. There's going to be extreme behavior. And whatever planet you have connected to the nodes, you're going to go on this seesaw of you're going to do that thing, you're going to overdo it, and then you're going to underdo it, and then you're going to overdo it, and then you're going to underdo it. And that is just how life is going to be for you. And it's not like you can't get away from it, but just your natural rhythm with that thing is going to be like that. So let's say you have Mars conjunct the north or south node. You're going to overdo your anger and then underdo it. You'll be too much conflict, not enough conflict. And you'll go back and forth between those extremes. Too much exercise, not enough exercise. Because Mars is like action, right? And so we could do that with every planet, and we can get more detailed based on what it is, right? So like because this planet is also the planet of spirituality, it's like going on the spiritual quest and then coming back and going to work and forgetting about it and then doing it again. Okay, I'm putting the chart away now so that I can be done. I can tell I'm starting to get tired. All right. Okay, so for anyone jumping on now who is wishing they got a reading, I'm going to do another batch of live readings soon. And And then I think we need to do a video on Mars going direct. So I'll have to decide what order we're going to do that in. Maybe we should do the Mars direct sooner, and then the live later. I'll have to decide that. So watch the channel for the next videos on live readings, and then the next video on Mars going direct. And then also, if you want to if you want to know ahead of time when my videos are coming out, or especially these ones, these live readings, get on my YouTube channel. I mean, get on my email list where you will immediately get my free download of I don't know if it's a download, but my free guide on how to align your midheaven. And you'll get a shitload of emails from me that tell you stories and stuff and remind you that if you're on the spiritual path, you're okay. You're right where you're supposed to be. And then you'll also get some emails from me, like whenever I sell anything new. So usually every month I've got something. It might be a reading sale, or it might be a sale on a course or something. And you'll get that. So I'm going to end the video here, even though I know, Anuradha, I did not get to see the rest of your messages for the rest of it, but I hope you enjoyed the rest of your video, the rest of your reading. And I thank you to everyone who booked today. So I'm going to go through the list here. Martha, Paola, Jeremy, and Anuradha, thank you for booking today. And again, for anyone else who didn't get in or who's watching the replay and wants to know how you get it, just join the email list and you'll get an email from me before we go live. Okay. I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend and a nice upcoming new moon in Pisces, if I don't see you before then. A beautiful Mars going direct experience, although I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It might not be easy. It might be more challenging, or there might be some, conflict. But I hope Mars going direct brings something positive into your lives. And I will see you beautiful souls in the next video. Bye, guys.